This is the Untold Italy travel podcast, and you're listening to episode number 161.
Ciao a tutti and benvenuti to Untold Italy, the travel podcast where you go to the towns and villages, mountains and lakes, hills and coastlines of Bella Italia. Each week, your host, Katy Clarke, takes you on a journey in search of magical landscapes, history, culture, wine, gelato, and of course, a whole lot of pasta. If you're dreaming of Italy and planning future adventures there, you've come to the right place.
Ciao, benvenuti. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Untold Italy, and one where we're going to take a little romantic turn. Well, if you ask me, Italy is endlessly romantic, and I think that's why so many of us return again and again. But today we're talking about capturing those special romantic life moments when you're there. I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce you to our guest today. She's one of a long line of extremely talented young women I've been privileged to meet via this podcast. Rhianna Nelson is a photographer who specialises in elopements and intimate weddings in Italy. She spends her time between Italy and Australia, speaks fluent Italian, and takes simply magical photos. We're absolutely thrilled every time she joins us on our Untold Italy tours because she manages to capture the essence of the places we visit and the beauty of all our guests. Rhianna is here today to share some insights on how to go about organising an elopement or small wedding in Italy and how to get those swoon-worthy shots that will stay with you for a lifetime. And just in case you're thinking, well, I'm not getting married soon or I'm already married, consider this. Renew your vows. Celebrate yourself. Rhianna is actually going to photograph my birthday celebrations later this year, and I can't wait. So without further ado, let's welcome her onto the show. Ciao, Rhianna, benvenuta, and welcome onto the Untold Italy podcast.
Hi, Katy. It's great to be here.
Great to see your face as usual, and no one else can see it, but I've given you a quick introduction, but I think our listeners would love to hear your story and how you came to be photographing weddings and elopements in Italy.
I first fell in love with Italy actually quite in an embarrassing way. I really wanted to go to Greece my whole childhood, but I couldn't do university exchange in Greece, so I figured Italy was close enough, and off I went. And then I just fell in love with Italy. I moved to Milan first, which I thought was terrible for 2 months. And then I went to Paris and then I came back and I realized actually I was madly in love with Italy and Italians and even Milan. I became a wedding photographer about a year after my Erasmus, and it was just always my dream to go to Italy and be a wedding photographer in Italy. So end of 2016, I packed up all my stuff and I moved over.
As you do.
As you do. Well, actually, I got offered a job when I was staying in a hostel in Milan. I got offered a job working in a furniture showroom, and I figured, why not? It's not weddings, but it will get me there. So I went and did that. It turns out they gave me the wrong kind of visa and the wrong kind of contract, so they had to fire me after 3 months, but it was my door to getting into Italy. So then I just set off to make weddings happen and doing style shoots and meeting people and traveling around to discover the best of Italy that I could to share it with my clients.
And here we are, and you've managed to combine your life in Italy and Australia in such an amazing way, and what a job, really. You get to spend time with people celebrating the happiest moments of their lives in some of the most beautiful places in the world. Do you just pinch yourself sometimes?
All the time. It's a dream job. It's the best job in the world, actually. I really believe it. Even on the bad days, it's amazing.
I can't imagine there's too many bad days. I'm sure every job has its ups and downs, doesn't it? So when you're taking people around, and I know you're a really prolific traveller as well, and you're very adventurous wherever you go, have you got some favourite places that you like to photograph these amazing life events?
Right now, I'm having a moment with Puglia. Definitely helped by tagging along on an Untold Italy tour last year. I love the Trulli and just the wide open spaces and how the landscape changes with the red dirt and the green of the olive trees, and then the amazing beaches that they have and the culture and the food and the everything. And I think Puglia is kind of an underrated destination that is just perfect for weddings, especially people can stay in renovated Trulli or in Masseria if they want to have more friends come through to their wedding. So that's one of my absolute favorites. I'm also love Sicily and Sardinia. I think I need to focus on the south. I think that's my
Well, I mean, everyone's looking for those sunshine shots, and I think Puglia is actually one of the most sunny places in Italy, actually. And you're right, it's just got this incredible landscape, and the towns, what do? They curate them somehow. They've made these beautiful little nooks, and it looks a bit styled, but it's not in an affected way. It's more in a really natural, organic, community way, and it's so charming.
Like an accidental, happy little thing where Alberobello is obviously the most famous because of the Trulli, but then Ostuni is the White City, and it's not like they've gone out and thought, how can we become a tourist hotspot? They were just the White City.
And even, that little street, where they've got the hats hanging down.
Yeah.
That's in Alberobello. But, I mean, it doesn't look contrived at all, does it? It looks like, oh, yeah, someone's just thought that would look really lovely and had a go of drawing up some straw hats, and it's just got such a charming look and feel about it. It's really beautiful. So, beaches, obviously, sunshine.
Beaches, sunshine. I love the beach. I love sunshine. I also, though, have a soft spot for Lake Garda in the north. I did an intensive study course on Lake Garda in 2015, I want to say. I was there for 3 weeks. They put us up it was all scholarship based, so it was free. And they put us up in this old villa right on the lake that used to be Mussolini's secretary's villa, gifted to the university by a rich family on the basis they have international people come and study there twice a year. And I just fell in love with Lake Garda. It's like the lesser known, more adventurous, less expensive version of Lake Como that nobody knows about.
Well, nobody English speaking, I think.
Yeah, lots of Germans.
Yeah, lots of Germans and Austrians. And it's funny, I don't think we've ever spoken about Lake Garda together, but it's also one of my favourites. It's actually the first place I ever landed in Italy. So up in the north there, Malcesine, and it's just, I find it stunning.
And it has a great gelateria.
Great gelateria, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's very important everywhere we go. Super important.
The important things.
Yeah, and I think the lakes give like really different scenery and background, especially maybe for us Australians where we don't have those lakes and mountains and spectacular alpine scenes. It's very different for us, isn't it? But I can imagine, I think if I was to get married again, I'd probably go there too. Or maybe Puglia. I'm not sure. Or should I say renew my vows?
There's so many options. This is the thing. Like, I spend not half my time. I spend, whenever I'm like, need a break from editing or whatever else it is, I go and I just sit and I research different places around Italy, and places like Umbria, which people don't know about so much. I think that's going to become one of the big next things, though. Or even coastal areas in Tuscany, like the hot springs of Saturnia or the Bagno di San Filippo. Like, there's so much around to suit so many different vibes and styles and what people love to do. So,
yeah, and that's why it's a little bit disappointing, isn't it, when everyone's always trying to go to the same spot. So which brings me to a question that is there some places that maybe are not your favourite places to shoot, and why would that be?
This is a funny one that I've been talking a lot with people about lately. It's not necessarily not my favourite place to shoot, but Positano is probably... I love Positano, and I love seeing people see Positano because it is spectacular. There's a reason it's so famous. But I feel like lately so many people are just going there because it is the Instagram hotspot, or because it's what they've seen of Italy and that's what they think they want. But I caught up with a client who got married in Positano last year. I caught up with her last week. She's in Perth like me at the moment. And I said, man, everyone's booking for Positano. And she said, I love you. I love what you did for us. I love everything about it. But tell them not to.
It's hard though, isn't it? Like, we know, like, people have just got it in their minds that this is the most beautiful place on earth. And it is stunning. There's no doubt about it. But it's also stunning with thousands of other people there. And that has an impact on the cost, and it has the impact on your experience. And so, like, I think people, if they want to have something super special and unique as well, like, they definitely could have a look at Puglia or Sicily and really interrogate you, Rhianna, about some of the places that you know.
Yeah, or even Cilento, just like a little bit further south, and you still get that coastline, but you miss all the influences hanging out of Fiat 500s blocking the one tiny road.
Oh my goodness, that yes, it can be a little bit frustrating to dodge the influences. And have you done much work in Venice, Rhianna?
No, not in Venice, actually. It's kind of one of the big things missing. I think I need to go and spend some time there this year. Once I finish booking out the season, then I look at my spare time and I plan trips around to go to places that I don't know so well so I can get to know it a little bit better. So I think Venice will be one of those spots.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Like, I just think the light, it's the light in Italy, I think, that really helps along the photography. There's something, I mean, maybe you know what it is because I don't know. what is it, some sort of like bouncing off mountains or off the sea? Is it some microclimate that gives it that special light?
It's just somehow this beautiful soft light. I don't know about the technical side of why it's like that, but it is. The light in Italy is spectacular. Even on the really bright days, like Milan in the wintertime, the sun is insanely bright on a clear day, but there's just something about it. I think, honestly, it could be the smog.
Maybe. Well, whatever it is, it does make everyone look really fantastic, and that's what you want when you're doing your wedding or elopement, I think. Well, what time of year do you think is a great time to have a wedding or an elopement in Italy?
Any time is good, really, depending on what you want. But June is a good one because it's the start of the summer months. It's not fully touristy yet, but it's still warm and lovely, and people are really excited about the summer arriving. Honestly, anytime though. It depends what you want. If you want the snow, obviously you're going to have to go in the winter time, like January or February is a good idea. If you want summer classic stripy umbrellas lying on the beach, sipping on spritz, then all through June to August is great. August, you just have to be wary of the crowds. August is where I would especially say seek out someone who knows Italy well and can help you find a spot where you will not be surrounded by millions of people.
Yeah, because of course when you're having those type of photos done, you want to be the focus of the photo.
Yeah.
Not the crowds at the beach and the exciting bathing costumes that some Italians wear.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I also always recommend sunrise sessions, especially for elopements, because if you're eloping, you don't have 100 guests or whatever else it is that have to get up to be there, so you can get up at sunrise and make the most of the empty streets and the beautiful place that you're going to and not have crowds watching on, because even if you go at a time when it's not touristy, Italians are not exactly known for keeping to themselves. And they will be very excited to see you dressed up in a wedding gown or a suit or whatever else it is that you decide to wear on your day.
What's going on? Who's getting married? Auguri.
Sometimes they come up and start giving advice. They'll be like, I'm going to tell you what you need to know about married life. And I'm like, they don't speak Italian. And they're like, I'll tell you, you translate.
Yeah. Is it helpful? I mean, I imagine it's extremely helpful that you speak fluent Italian in these situations.
Full respect to the photographers who travel around Italy photographing weddings who don't speak Italian. I don't know how they do it, especially if you want to have a more traditional church wedding or even a not traditional church wedding. Churches in Italy aren't allowed to be closed to the public. So, I mean, we had this on the Untold Italy tour in Puglia last year. We were walking through Bari on the last morning, and there was a big wedding at one of the big churches, main churches in Bari. And this poor bride got out of the car and there was just crowds of people all around. There were people in the church. You'll get like the old nonni who just refuse to leave where they want to sit in the church. It doesn't matter that there's a wedding going on. It really helps to speak Italian and know how to charm them a little bit and be like, hey, could you just move there? Or could you just do that? Or can we sort this out? So yeah, speaking Italian has been a big help.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what sort of things, if someone's thinking, oh, Rhianna, this is sounding exciting, like pictures on the lakes, pictures on the coast, what would people need to think about if they're planning a wedding or an elopement in Italy?
It's probably not such a practical piece of advice, but whenever I'm talking to a new client, I tell them to picture the best day of their lives ever. Like, forget about the wedding and just picture the best day ever of your life. And then I'll help them make that happen. The main thing with Italy is, and if they're listening to the Untold Italy podcast, they probably already know this, but there is so much to Italy that so many people don't know. Unless you're there, you just won't know about it. Like, Rome is amazing. Florence is amazing. the Amalfi Coast is beautiful. There's a reason it is so famous and so popular. But Italy, at the end of the day, is a huge country with so much amazing stuff. So if you're planning a wedding or an elopement, seek someone out who knows Italy well, who can help you plan it and experience the best of it in a unique way instead of just a cookie cutter wedding planner one room here and this is what you get, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, keeping an open mind is one of those things. And I think it does take a bit of a leap of faith, especially if you've had friends or family that have done something before. But I mean, I've heard some people have amazing experiences. Someone got married in Assisi, I heard, which sounded really beautiful, especially there at sunsets is absolutely incredible. And the light up there is just insane. But I mean, so I wouldn't necessarily think of that as a wedding venue in Italy. I mean, but there's so many options. It's like it's quite bewildering, actually.
You can have villas and hotels and terraces and tiny little Airbnbs and mountaintops. There's everything.
Yeah, amazing. So do you work with the planners, or do people kind of mainly like to plan themselves, or how does it normally work?
So in Italy, my main focus has become elopements, and as part of that, I tend to help with the planning myself. Part of what I wanted to do in Italy was get to know people who are there, so we can help support local businesses. I always had stories of people flying photographers out from Australia and flying makeup artists out from Australia or America or even the UK, because they couldn't find somebody that they liked in Italy. And having lived in Italy, I know that Italy is full of so much talent and so many incredible humans. They're just not very good at marketing. They're not great at marketing. They're not great at replying to emails or texts unless they know the person.
And then they bombard you, which I love.
Yeah. Then you'll find the best boat guy in Positano, and you'll get the next year of just getting photos of his boat every day.
It's so true.
So yeah, I've ended up helping with planning for small elopements and very intimate destination weddings. Then for anything bigger than that, I usually recommend finding a wedding planner who can help organize everything, pull everything together. I mean, you could do it yourself, but the other thing about Italians is you have to know how they operate to get stuff done. I love telling the story about going to the post office to pick up a package after I'd been in Australia. I got back the day after it was supposedly not going to be there, but knowing Italy, I knew that the package would still be there. So I waited my requisite 2 hours in the post office, because that's what you do there. And I got up to the front, and the woman didn't even speak to me. She just pointed at the date and shook her head. And I just started yelling at her in Italian, waving my arms around, kicking up a fuss, like, I just got back from Australia, what do you want from me? And she shrugged and went, okay, yeah, fair enough. And she went and got my package, and I said, have a great day. And she said, have a great day. And we went on with our lives. But you have to know how to do that if you're planning a bigger event. So in that case, I'd say find a wedding planner.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any that you would particularly recommend, or?
It really depends on where you want to go, because if you want that classic Tuscan Val d'Orcia type situation, I'd recommend finding somebody there, especially if you want something bigger, because just having those local connections really helps. Something smaller, it's not as important to find somebody from that place.
So I think that's so important, and it's true for travel as well. We know that from, setting up our tours, you need to have that local connection, because there are just things that someone in Venice is just not going to know what's going on in Puglia. And, they probably don't care, to be honest. But and Puglia is, I mean, it's really like sometimes like a different country, isn't it? Like going to all these different regions. It's really fascinating. And I think that's why, we love Italy and why we keep going back. It's because it's not the same wherever you go. It is so different. So definitely, everyone, if you're thinking about this, try and get to know someone very, very local. Find someone local and ask around, because I think there's maybe some Facebook groups that you can join. I'll have a look with people who have done this before. But, definitely try. If you want Tuscany, go Tuscany. If you want Umbria, look up Umbria. I can imagine it's quite a logistical feat to do a shoot like that. So you mentioned getting up early And I know we can just imagine hair, makeup and all of those things. It would be, unless you're really, adept at doing that yourself, it's probably quite a challenge to manage. So what typically happens on a shoot? How does it all work?
So usually an elopement, most of the time, yeah, we're getting up early. Sometimes not. Sometimes we're not. It depends. But yeah, usually getting up really early. If they've got hair and makeup booked, which it actually varies. I thought that would be a constant thing, but some people just really don't care and they're like, I'm good with that. And other people really want someone. So if they do, they get there super early. They get ready. I'll go and meet them usually where they're at. It depends if they have a car, if the couple doesn't have a car, if they need a car. If they need, I'll go pick them up. If not, I'll just go meet them where I'm meeting them. Then we'll usually wander around and take some portraits to make the most of the sunrise light and the quiet sunrise streets. And we'll find a little spot to say their vows. So again, this depends if it's an elopement just the two of them, or if they've got more guests, then we'll push it out a little bit and we'll just really make the most of the morning, do the portrait session, then go and have a ceremony, and then usually have some kind of amazing Italian feast, whether that's in a restaurant or one I did last year. We had an Italian nun that come out and cook this entire feast for them, which was just a dream come true. But yeah, if it's just an elopement, the two of them will find a pretty spot kind of on the fly, depending on the day, where they can share their vows, and they'll share their vows. It's always really beautiful and really emotional, surprisingly emotional, even if it's just the couple, maybe with a celebrant, maybe with just me. I've been to so many weddings already, I know kind of the script. So.
So, but from the legal perspective, you already need to be married before you do an elopement. Is that right? Or you do it after? Or how does it work?
Before or after. Some couples want to get married in Italy. They want it to be the legal wedding day, in which case I always recommend them to local celebrants that I know around the place, a few different ones who can help, because getting married legally in Italy, like anything that involves bureaucracy in Italy, is not a walk in the park, put it lightly. So you need the local celebrant, because firstly you have to get a document called an atto notario, I think I'm getting that right, from the Italian consulate or embassy in your hometown. And the documents that you'll need for that will depend on where your hometown is, and it will depend on the council area at which you're getting married at in Italy. Then when you get to Italy, you have to go to your consulate from your home country there to get a nulla osta, which is saying that they give you permission to get married there. Then you have to have a legal celebrant, which can either be a worker for the council or a priest if you want to have a Catholic wedding, in which case obviously you have to do all the Catholic rituals before premarital counselling and all of that. So once you've done all that, then you have to also get married in a place that is allowed by the council. You can't get married just anywhere you like in that situation. You have to get married in one of the specific council allowed spots. And then you have to get everything registered afterwards in Italy and again in your home country. It's a process. Some people, it's really important to them. So, like I said at the beginning, it's about imagining your perfect day. And if that's important to you, we'll make it happen. But with the help of a local celebrant or somebody like me who's not local but has made Italy their home. But mostly they're just symbolic. The couples come over, they either get married before in their home country or they get married after. I've got one couple who they call each other husband and wife. They tell everyone they're married, but it's not legal, and they're not really fussed to make it legal. But they shared their vows in the really cute little sunrise ceremony, and they both got really emotional. There was lots of tears and hugging and laughing, and it was beautiful. So,
oh, gorgeous. Yeah, so all that bureaucracy makes you feel like sticking a pin in your eye, or just
kind of ruins the romantic effect,
Yeah, let's not focus on that. So maybe you can tell us some of the most memorable occasions that you had, and where they were, and what the scene was and how it all played out.
So the big standout for me from last year would have been my time in Puglia, which I did an elopement in Trullo. This couple came to me and they said, we want to get married in Italy. We don't know when, where, what, or how, but we love your photos and we trust you. And so I put together a few different itineraries for them, proposed ideas of what we could do. And then we ended up in this renovated Trullo just outside of Fasano in Puglia. And it was magical. We had a nonna come out and make lunch, which we had under this big oak tree. And she was explaining, I think it was rucola, like wild rucola or something, wild rocket or something like this. And she went out into the fields. She couldn't find it, so she went out into the fields to find it, to pick it for us, to show us. And she was so proud of her food. And then we went out to Polignano a Mare at sunset, which I wouldn't usually do sunset, but it just worked out better that day. And we got the most spectacular sunset ever. It was an amazing day. And that was right off of the back of the Untold Italy tour, which was so much fun. I can't express how much fun it was. The best time just going around and seeing things and hanging out with a great bunch of people and eating good food and drinking good wine.
I'm kicking at myself I wasn't there.
Yeah, it was so good, Katie.
And hopefully I can make the Puglia tour one time. But yeah, we have a great team of people that are on board. But so Rhianna mentioned the trullo or the trulli, which are these little houses with the stone roofs, and they look like they're out of a fairy tale, don't they?
They really do, especially when you see them in Alberto Verde. You're just like, what is this? My friend calls them a tent castle.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. Yeah.
Another one that I loved was during the pandemic, during the second lockdown, when Italy was in colour zones and you couldn't move around and kind of trapped inside for a long time, is we somehow managed to pull off a styled shoot in the Dolomites. Dolomiti, that was a mix of Australian and Italian, in the Dolomiti or the Dolomites. We had to get permission from the Carabinieri, which is the military police, to go and do this, and they let us. Because we, as wedding professionals, we were all just kind of sitting around twiddling our thumbs for 2 years, and we were starting to get quite bored. And we thought, okay, let's think of the wildest thing we could possibly do. And so we took this couple. We went up into Alta Badia. It was so much snow, and we did a styled shoot in a deer park. So we were taking photos of this couple in this gorgeous clothes, like wedding clothes, with deer in the background, and we set up a little picnic for them, and we had the local news come out because it was like the most exciting thing that had happened.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Oh, wow. I think that's the thing in Italy. It's the nature. That's the constant backdrop, which is a beautiful nature. And if you can find a way to tease that out and have that as your backdrop, it doesn't matter where, it's always so, so beautiful.
So true. Like, you don't even need all the huge flowers and this. And I mean, they can make things really spectacular. I saw one in the Dolomites where somebody had done but they'd made this amazing kind of circle that sort of tapered off, and it became very wispy backdrop, and it just set the mountains off beautifully. But you don't even need that, because the mountains by themselves are just so gorgeous. And like you say, that's kind of runs across Italy. The nature is just spectacular.
It really is. Oh, goodness me. Any other ones you want to share with us?
I did one on Lake Garda where it was the first of the season, and we just laughed and laughed and laughed. This couple was so much fun. She reached out to me quite late, actually. I think it was March, and they got married in June. Similar thing. We don't know where, what, when, how. Oh no, they knew when. They wanted that date in June. They said, but we just want you to help us. We want you to take the photos. And so we ended up on Lake Garda because he wanted a castle, and she kept telling me he's such a groomzilla. He wanted to have photos in a castle. She wanted to just have a beautiful backdrop and beautiful photos and an excuse to explore Italy. So we got up at sunrise. We ran around Riva del Garda, which is right on the north. And then we went down to Malcesine, which we talked about before, because they have a castle there. And we went up into the castle, and they said their vows very quickly because we had half an hour there before another wedding came in. And then we went and hung out on a boat, and we drank Prosecco and ate gelato and just laughed and laughed and had the best time.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, that's what you're going to remember, I think. Just those really, doesn't sound fancy, sounds really simple.
Yeah.
But, you've got those magnificent backdrops, and you've got your gelato, and you've got the person that you love the most in the world. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that, really, does it? I don't think.
Yeah. And just the attitude, I think people who elope tend to be much more relaxed as a general rule, or people who are planning a destination wedding. It's usually because they're not looking to have the typical big thing, or if they are going to have the big thing, which, some people love having huge parties, they want to have time to spend properly with those people. So they're bringing them all over Italy so that you're all there for a week in the one place and you can have the best time. And it's just that attitude of, we're going to get married. I'm going to decide to spend the rest of my life with the person I love most, and I'm going to have the best time doing it.
The problem is some of us already are married. We take a lot of photos these days, I think, but then perhaps we don't use them. And, you know, everyone's sort of like stuck on their phone. So the other really amazing thing about this experience is that, you know, if they've got you along, they don't need to think about the phone. They don't need it. They can be in the moment and they can relax while these beautiful, beautiful photos are being taken and that they can share later. And I think that's a gift maybe that maybe people didn't think of. But yeah, we're really stuck to our phones these days and it's a little bit sad, I think.
Yeah, I always make sure they get some prints as well at the end of it, because it's one thing to see the photos on Instagram or on the computer or, you know, on a screen, but to have them printed is it's really special, or in a book where you can flick through the pages and just be like, remember the whole day and the whole story of the day and the way you were feeling in the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm really guilty of it from our wedding. I hadn't actually printed many off, and I hadn't made the book because we were doing everything. There was job changes and there was a whole lot of things. So I recently did that and printed. And then, you know, my kids just love looking at those photos, and they're like, "Oh, Mum, you look so nice." Several years now of lack of sleep. Yeah, no, I think it's really brilliant to do that. And that's why everyone, I've asked Rhianna to come along and photograph my birthday that I'm having later in the year, because for starters, there's going to be people there that, you know, we don't get together so often. It's their special relationships to me. And I look back on my wedding photos and now we have some absolutely stunning photos of people that have now passed away. And they're really special memories now. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that when we catch up in Cilento. It's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing.
Wow. Okay. Now, everyone, Rhianna does absolutely stunning photos and you should definitely go and check them out. So, Rhianna, can you let everyone know how people can get in touch with you and perhaps organise a shoot of their important celebrations?
So you can find me, of course, on Instagram. I have 2 accounts for weddings and elopements. It's just Rhianna May Weddings. And for travel and me waxing lyrical about how much I love Italy, it's Rhianna May _. Then if you want to go and see a little bit more, if you want some more information about how to elope in Italy or best places to elope in Italy that are off the beaten track, rhiannamay.com is my wedding photography website, which is about to have a complete overhaul and rebranding, but the information is still all there. So you can check all of that out there.
So for all our listeners, Rhianna's photography is absolutely just beautiful and it's really natural and candid. And that's why I wanted to work with her to shoot our Untold Italy tours. And as I mentioned, we're getting some personal shots too. So grazie, Rhianna. Thank you so much for joining us on Untold Italy today.
Thank you, Katie, so much. Thanks for having me.
Grazie mille. Thank you. Honestly, Rhianna's photos are absolutely stunning. She captures the Italian light in such a beautiful and dreamy way, but more importantly, the essence of the people that she's photographing, their humour, their smiles and their beauty in such a candid and natural way. She's an absolute professional and it's truly a joy to work with her on a variety of projects. So if you want to have an absolutely beautiful and dreamy escape to Italy via Rhianna's photos or get in touch with her, head on over to untolditaly.com/161 for episode number 161, where you'll find all the links to her Instagram and web pages, as well as the places she recommends to take those incredible shots. Grazie mille. Thank you for your ongoing support of Untold Italy. We truly appreciate all of you, our listeners, joining us from around the world. And we'd love it if you help spread the word so we can reach more Italy-loving travellers just like you. The best way you can do this is by leaving us a 5-star rating or review on your favourite podcast app or forwarding this episode onto a friend who is just loving dreaming of Italy. That's all for today. Next week, we're going to explore why Italy in springtime is simply a stunning time to visit. But until then, it's ciao for now.
The Untold Italy podcast is an independent production. Podcast editing, audio production and website development by Mark Hatter, production assistance and content writing by the other Katy Clarke. Yes, there are 2 of us. For more information about Untold Italy, please visit untolditaly.com.